Hi, it's Diana. Today I'm going to show you how to make egg bites in the Instant Pot. Now these are totally customizable. We're going to start with an egg and cheese base. You can swap out the ingredients if you want to do something different, but I'm going to show you just a basic egg bite, and I'm going to go ahead and add some greens to it for a little extra nutrition in there. The first thing you're going to need is a blender. So I'm just going to use this blender cup. We're going to add 3 eggs to it and then 2 of our cheeses. So today I'm going to use a brie for a soft cheese, and then I'm using cottage cheese as well. Notice when I crack the eggs, I always crack them on a flat surface rather than here on the edge of my blender cup, because cracking them on a flat surface is just going to crack the shell and not push any of the shell in. But if you crack it on the edge of a plate or a dish, it's going to push cracked shells into the inside of your egg, and you have a higher likelihood of getting eggshells in your food. So you always want to crack them on a flat surface. So my 1/4 cup of brie. It's okay to eat the rind on brie. Since we're going to blend this though and I want it to be smooth, I'm just going to go ahead and cut the edge of the rind off, because that tends to be a little bit tougher. I'm just going to go around the top and the bottom and take that rind off. The rest of this lovely brie is just going to go straight into our blender cup. Last, we need a 1/4 cup of cottage cheese. We're going to blend this until it's smooth, just about 30 seconds, and then we'll come back and do our mix-ins. Now that we have our smooth egg and cheese mixture, we can add our add-ins to this. I'm going to just do some simple chopped greens. This is just a mixed green. It has spinach and kale and arugula in it. So you really just need a small handful. And I'm going to cut this up. So I want to roll the leaves together as best I can. That's going to help. So I'm going to be safe with my knife. So I'm going to roll it up, hold it firmly with my non-knife hand, and then I'm just going to do straight cuts down. This cut is called a chiffonade. So what you're making is ribbons with the greens. And I'll show you how pretty they are after I finish this roll. So see how you just get these beautiful ribbons of greens? That's lovely. So these are all just going to go right in here. You can also do some fun mix-ins like bacon, some extra cheese. If you want to do some shredded cheese, you can add that in here as well. So here's my 1/2 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. You don't need to blend this one again. We're just going to mix it up a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and pour it into our Instant Pot Sous Vide mold. So this is a silicone mold that has 7 compartments in it. So these 3 eggs and other ingredients are going to turn into 7 egg bites. So do the best you can and just try to separate this out into equal amounts. So I have these all separated. They're about 80% full, and then we're going to put them in our Instant Pot. 1 cup of water goes into the base of the Instant Pot. And my Instant Pot came with this little rack with the handles on it, which is super handy. So the silicone mold just goes on top of the rack, and then I can lower that down. And you want that silicone mold to be lifted off the bottom, because you don't want to boil the bottom by having that tray sitting actually in the water. So this rack just helps lift it off of the bottom of the pot. After you lower your rack into the Instant Pot, you want to put a cover or like a parchment round or something, like a piece of cooking paper in there, or foil you can also use. I'm just going to use the silicone lid. I'm going to lay it across the top of my mold, and that is going to just keep the water, the condensation that builds up on the inside of the Instant Pot lid, from dripping straight down into my egg bites. If it does drip down, it's just going to create pockets of water inside those egg bites, and they're not going to be very appetizing that way. So I want to make sure that I remember to put that cover down. Put your lid on, lock it up until you hear that little chime. We're going to set it on low pressure for 8 minutes. And with the Instant Pot, once you set the time, you just leave it until it gives you the beep telling you that it acknowledges. So there's the beep. It acknowledged my instructions, and we're going to cook on low pressure for 8 minutes. Our Instant Pot just finished up with its cooking time, so we can crack into it, right? Not so fast. This recipe calls for 5 minutes of natural pressure release. So that just means that we're going to leave everything in there for 5 more minutes before we release the pressure and take our food out. And you can see right here on this timer, it's going to start counting upwards. So once it hits 5 minutes, then we'll be all done. We've reached 5 minutes of natural pressure release after our cook time was done. I'm going to show you how to release the rest of the pressure with a quick release. So sometimes you want to use a spoon or something so you can be a little bit further back, because the steam is going to come out of this little valve once I flip it over to the venting. So I'm just going to use my spoon. I'm going to push it slowly just to see how much pressure is still in there. And once you push the pressure valve far enough over to the venting side, it will just stay there on its own, so you don't need to hold it there with your spoon. Once all of the pressure has been released, this little pop-up valve here is going to press down. That's when you know it's safe to open up this lid. Slide my Instant Pot out of the way so I can get this rack. So I'm using my hot mitts to pull this out because this rack is metal, it's super hot. So there are my egg bites taken out of the Instant Pot. I'm going to just let them hang out in here for about 2 minutes just so they can cool off, firm up, and then I'll show you how to scoop them out of this mold. Our little egg bites have cooled off, they've solidified in this mold, and now I'm going to just use a large spoon and release the edge. Just go gently around, scoop down to the bottom, go around, and then pull it out. So these are super fluffy and tender. They're the perfect little bite of egg and cheese. You can serve this right along your toast. If you want to plop it on the top of a piece of sourdough toast, I think that would be amazing. You can serve it next to some mixed greens for a little breakfast salad. But there you go, 2 perfect little Instant Pot egg bites. So I hope you like this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.